Today we are going to be remounting these seats, building new brackets, and fixing the roll cage. And what we are going to be doing today is replacing the old seats with the new seats. That means building new bracketry, taking the roll cage out. Let's get started. So what we're running into here is when I sit in that thing, my head is almost outside of the roll cage. I think the problem that we're going to have is right about there. That needs to go down, so we're going to have to notch around that pipe or that tubing. And this works great for me. You know, I got big old hands, but most people that go to grab that, that's 1 3/4 DOM, and yeah, it's a little too much for the average person to go grab. You know, when I was building that roll cage, it was crunch time, and it needed to get done. I wasn't gonna go wheeling up on top of the mountain and not be safe. So this is the problem that we're having. You see my old seat and my new seat that I'm putting in. See the difference in the heights? I don't like it. It's got to be fixed. And just a couple of, since I had the roll cage out before, on the last video about putting floorboards in, go check it out. Pretty good video. If I could get it out again, I'm going to take the thing all the way out, so I'm not welding in there anymore. Pretty sure I'm going to use a skidster to lift it out. Well, that went way better than I thought it was gonna. I thought I was gonna have to call Jordan over and have him come help me, because it's a little tricky to get that out of there. Pretty tight hole. So this is what we got going on. I need to cut off all those little brackets down there. Cut off all that old seatbelt stuff. Cut those brackets off. Cut and grind these brackets all off. Let's get to cutting. Whew, that is a frickin' chore. But I got them all ground off. As you can see, I ground them all, cleaned up the bars, cleaned up the center of the window here so that I could put the center one in, cut off my hand grabs. I cleaned up this little in-between sectors here. I keep looking at this thing going, how in the hell did I build that in 5 days? After work, 10-hour days. Come home and work on that thing till 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, not too young. Don't let the gray hair fool you though. I ain't 50 yet. I got those cleaned off. So I think that's gonna wrap it up for today. Tomorrow I'll be right back out here doing the same thing. Get those seats mocked up, get them all in position, and I think I will be a lot happier with my roll cage at the end of this. This is what we woke up to this morning. And as you see, I was out plowing snow. So it is a new day in the shop. Got the heater going. Got back from plowing snow. Nobody did the work for me. Bummer on that one. We should be getting pretty close to putting this thing back in. And maybe mounting some seats. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Woke up this morning and they said 0 to a skiff of snow. And yeah, there's way more than a skiff out there. That was a 4 o'clock wake up call. Go out and look and see, and I went, oh my God, I gotta get going. So yeah, it's been a long day already. It's noon, so my day's already over and I'm just getting started. So Brown Dog's having no part of going outside today. He's like, nope, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna lay right here in my chair. So when I started this project, I kind of thought, it's just gonna be a little project, take seats out, put seat back in. I wasn't gonna have a problem with it. I probably wasn't gonna video it. Well, now you can see it's evolved. So past Eric, past fabricator Eric, yeah, I hate that guy sometimes. Well, that was about as sketchy as it gets. Smooth operator, baby. That's how you get that done. So I think the next step is to see where these seats mount and see where those brackets fit in there. This is kind of what I'm thinking. This don't have the slider on the bottom, it's just flat. And that slider is about 3/4 of an inch, so let's see. Hope I don't fall on my ass. Come on, baby. Oh yeah. Woo, we got a rocking chair. But that feels way better. This is kind of what I was thinking. This is about an inch right here. And I was going to coat that around and fill it in with maybe quarter, or I got some 3/16 so that I could kind of dish it into place there and weld it back in and build the tab off the backside. I think that's gonna probably work. I'm not real sure on that. I know it's gonna make the tube a little weaker, you know. There's lots of tubes in that right there. I got this all mocked up yesterday. Man, that was a long day yesterday. Snow removal, everything else. Anyways, so I bent this down, bolted in there, notched this down. This plate right here is built into the tab that mounts to the seat. This is all I'm gonna get final welded in here. My killer combo. Spot on.
Bam! You can just give it one bam like that.
What we need to do now is do some mount from here to this bar, coming back from here to there. Same thing over on that side. I got all the brackets for the seats in. I'll do the final welding when I take the cage back out. That is gonna work out real nice. So I think the next step is getting the seats in and measuring for my shoulder harness and seeing where that bar needs to go across there on my B-pillar. Let's do our shoulder bar for our seat belts where we come through and it loops around. Run from this one to that one over there, about somewhere right in here. So when I'm bending tube, I like to run a nice straight line right down the center of that thing. The best of my abilities. Which is usually pretty damn hard to do. So then you take this thing, see these little arrows, you put that right on that line as a reference, lining up that with that straight line all the way down there, and it's at 0.1 degree. So it's 0.1 degree away from dead nuts. So if any of you guys ever do any tubing bending, make yourself little gauges. Like this is a 40 degree, if you could see, so it's 40, and then it kicks back 5. So you really need that, because this is gonna have some spring back, and if you ride it on there, you already know. So it's pretty simple. Went 5 over. Just for the kickback. See what we get. Right on 40. That's why you always write that down. Probably do a notch. And see where the other side comes in at. Boy, this is gonna be real fun by yourself. It'd be nice to have another guy. But you do what you do. Here we go. All notched into the corners. Comes around at a 40 degree. Pretty sure that this is 0. Yep. That's at 0. The bar up there by my windows at 0. The gas tank is at 0. Kind of figured 0 was the number. So, yeah, got a little gap here, but won't be too bad. Here's another little trick of the trade. Needed 4 brackets. Just tack it together. And you have 4. Just make all 4 at one time. Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? So this is where we left off yesterday. Got the seat belts in, got the little bracket tabs tacked in there, got all the seat brackets tacked in, bolted in. We got your shoulder bar going across there, seat belts tied into it. So the next thing we need to do is mount my transfer case shifter. It's the twin stick from JB Fab. Got my cables coming into it. We need to have a bracket go from this back tube welded up here to this tube, because eventually there's going to be a center console right here with a cup holder or something, maybe beer holder, you never know. Alright guys, this is what I got. Didn't overthink it at all. This is a piece of 1/4 inch by 4 plate. This is drilled and tapped into it, if you can see in there. Cables come around, and no, they're not too tight. So I think this is gonna do it for today. It was a pretty short day, but as long as you get something done every day, you'll make it to that end goal eventually. New day here in the shop. Got off early today because it's 0 outside. What we're doing today is we're going to take a bar and go from up here in a V down to this bar. I'm not even sure what they're called, but I know it needs to be done. Now if I've even put double bar going down right there, that would take care of that issue of, I mean, it would strengthen it up a little bit, I would think. So if I had a bar coming here too, that transfers all the way through to the back of my cage. I'm almost thinking that that's the way to go. I got this one already bent up as a 60°. I think what we're going to do is we're going to cut that right in the middle so that where it ties in, I'm hoping. Alright guys, this is what I came up with. I went with 2 bars just straight down. I didn't really like that V notch. It's definitely stronger, the V. Triangulated is always the strongest. That looks way better. Well, that was real fun. Got those all tacked off. I think we're ready to start taking this cage out. So that was about as sketchy as it gets once again, but I think I'm getting used to that part right there. So anyways, got them in, and I think next step is get those seats out, get the shifter out, final weld, all that stuff. Got all those welded up, both sides. Tubes are all welded. Brackets are all welded. This is all welded out up here. This is all welded out. And it is lava right now. So I am going to let that thing cool down a little bit before I do anything else on it. Hey guys, new day here in the shop. Got up super early before I went to work and started working on this stuff, trying to finish it up. And I realized I skipped over a piece for you guys. I forgot to video my dimple die action that I had going on. Yeah, you get all wrapped up in the moment, I guess, what you want to call it. Got both sides going. What I started doing now, I'm working on this piece here, filling this little triangle. You can see. So I'm gonna just get her really about as close as you could get that thing. What we got going on here, we're gonna do some dimple die. Speed holes, if you want to call it. This is an 1.5 inch hole from this dimple die. You want to make sure you're putting it in the right way, so when it flanges out, it's in. And you just start pressing. If you can see, it kind of warps her a little. What I found works really good. You take the bottom side of that on the flange edge and you press that back down. And it pretty much brings that right back to pretty close to straight. I think that's gonna turn out real nice. I think it's turning out pretty good. That's what we got so far. Gotta repeat the process on the other side. Get that one over there, and I think you guys don't need to watch that. Alright guys, well, it's a couple days later. I ended up getting the flu, and I hate being sick. But I'm sure we all hate being sick. It's a pretty rough thing. And yeah, wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. It was about 3 days.
No, God!
So this is what I did this morning. Got this all laid out to fit in there. Then I took it, turned it into this. So now that's ready to dimple die. Then I did this one. All I need to do is just fit it up in place. I think it's turning out pretty good. Got both sides tacked on. Get that all ground up and get it ready for paint. We're at that point. Oh, that was a lot of grinding. All right, just to get all those pieces just perfect and get all the BBs off so they don't scratch you in your hands. And yeah, that's what I got. It's all ground up, cleaned up, BBs all off of it. Ran a little bit of seam seal around the outside of these. Trying to see. Next step is paint, and there's a whole lot of painting going on. Alright guys, new day in the shop. Got all the dimple dies welded up. Got it all painted. Got the center bar in. Got the shoulder harness bar in. I think everything is ready to go back in. It is in, and man, does it look good. I think the next step is to get everything bolted and finally assembled. All right, guys, here we go. The moment of truth. It looks damn good. I'd have to say so myself. Color scheme, nailed it. I would have to say that turned out pretty damn good. The color scheme, amazing. That was a long battle to get that all done in one video. But it's in. Thank God. Anyways, like, subscribe, do all the little ding dong things that YouTube wants you to do, and just remember, if you don't start a project, you can't finish a project. So get off your ass and go start a project. That was my project this week. 10 days actually. And went through fighting being sick, snowstorms, all kinds of stuff to get her done. But I got it done. And it looks real good. Alright guys, we'll be seeing you on the next one.